Hey everybody, Dr. Misty here. Thank you for joining me on Wellness Wednesday today. So today we're going to talk about a secret toxin that might be in your home or workplace or in your environment that can be amping up your anxiety, fatigue, and depression, okay? So this is something that a lot of my functional medicine patients I've delved into, and it's always something that I have them check for because it is really important and very addressed. So I'm going to tell you a quick story first. So I had a patient at one point who had been to multiple different physicians. He was a younger man in his early 20s. And he was in college and he had moved around, and he had depression and anxiety that was just amping and amping and amping, and getting so bad that he had to be taken out of college and move home. And so this is more of a severe case, and this is what I want to get this point across, because it's important for you to understand how much this can affect our bodies. Okay, so this person had been to another functional medicine doctor. He had been to multiple practitioners, a psychotherapist. He had tried different anti-anxiety drugs, and he would feel like a little bit better, but then it wouldn't. Nothing was really helping. And so we started seeing each other, and initially I think it was more his mom wanted him to come in because she was concerned about him. And so he just kind of sat across from me with his arms crossed, and I just kind of looked at him like, wow, we got to get to the bottom of this, because this kid is suffering, and he's there is something going on that's being missed, and let's figure it out. So I had him digging through his history. I had to go through a bunch of questions, and so the one thing that was never addressed was his environment. With his other practitioners, there was thyroid issues, there was leaky gut issues, there was a multitude of these issues that were coming out in his protocols, but really they were really intense protocols, and he wasn't following them, and he just wasn't getting to the root of what was going on. So that's, again, functional medicine. It's all about getting to the root cause. Okay, so long story short, I asked him if he had ever lived in any damp spaces before, and if he ever saw any spots on his walls or anything like that. And he said, yeah, the place I live at has, I think it might be mold. It has like black all over the walls and the ceiling and everything. So we actually found out that one of this person's main symptoms was actually mold toxicity. Mold toxicity was causing him to have severe ramping up of anxiety and depression. And so what I had him do, and this is a great technique for you guys at home who are ever curious, if you do have mold toxicity, or if you have ever read about this, if you inhale mold spores, especially black mold, it's very, very toxic to your health. It can create immunosuppression, and it can create and release these mycotoxins, which are very damaging to us cellularly. And a lot of those symptoms are anxiety, depression, fatigue, foggy brain. It can also be like headaches and sharp shooting pains as well, numbness and tingling. So these are kind of broad spectrum symptoms, right? So we had him, and this is a technique I want you guys to listen to, because this is something you can do for yourself at home. I had him look in and around everything that in the environments that he was in. I had him check anything that was either wet or like a damp area, like the bathrooms, so check the ceilings, check anything around that's growing around the outlets of plugs. And then also check on the back of furniture. So especially like Chinese or cheap made furniture, that's all particle board. That's all stuff that mold will attach to and grow like crazy on. So if you have furniture and you're getting, like if you're somebody who's going to sleep and having a lot of chronic fatigue, fatigue or waking up with, you know, a lot of these problems and it's getting worse and worse and worse, that's something you want to do is kind of look behind those pieces of furniture. You know, you brought your furniture from a cheaper store that uses particle board, like you know, like a lot of the Chinese furniture or whatever, is, you know, particle board, especially for younger kids, you know, college age kids, things like that. You're going to buy more cheaper furniture. You want to look behind those things, because if you do have a mold issue, that can really strongly attach to that. And so in this patient, we had him immediately move him from the environment, and I had him use this technique. Okay, so there's these home mold kits. They are little petri dishes that grow mold. This is just more of a this is a baseline test. This is like kind of if we go further, if we're really concerned. So this is for checking for mold in your environment. So you can do a quick home mold test and use those petri dishes. You can buy them at like a home store, Lowe's, Home Depot, wherever you have near you. And it's a petri dish, and you can set it out in areas of your home or your environment that you're concerned with mold growth. The other thing that you can do is, again, if you have these symptoms and you are concerned, take a couple petri dishes extra besides your environment, make the petri dish and let it settle, cough into it deeply 3 times, place it on, let it sit, take the other swab, take a nose swab up and down your nose, and swab it into the petri dish. This will actually, there's actually a condition called marcons. There's bacteria that can actually grow up in your nose after a long period of time of having mold toxicity and exposure, that can create a lot of these symptoms as well. So this is a great kind of baseline, inexpensive test to say, okay, could I possibly have mold toxicity? Because this can absolutely contribute to these types of symptoms. So if you are somebody who is experiencing a lot of anxiety and depression, and you're, especially with mothers, okay, here's something that we almost all do, especially if we have young children. What do we use if the kids are sick? Humidifier, right? So I made like the grave mistake myself of like running this humidifier in our bedroom. And at the time, what we had was stuff with particle board on the back of it. Huge mold issue in our house. We had to do mold treatments and everything, and throw out a bunch of our furniture. And I realized that that was a piece of my health too. So that is, it's really a big thing. If you guys are running humidifiers in your kids' room all night long, just be conscious of that. Be conscious of your, especially for younger kids, if they're breathing in mold, or mold gets into the humidifier, make sure you're cleaning that out really well. You can use certain essential oils to try and clean it out with vinegar, oregano oil, things like that. Those are things that you can use to kind of, tea tree oil. Definitely tea tree oil. That will be big with removing some of the mold as well. But if you are somebody who has consistent anxiety and depression, is getting worse, and that's, again, if you are a mom and you are already overloaded, you're overstressed, your adrenals are going all the time, your immune system can be run down from all that stress. So what's going to add and basically pour gasoline on the fire is definitely mold toxicity. Okay, and this is something that's missed very often. It's very under addressed, and it can create a lot of problems for people. So do yourself a favor, if you are having some of those symptoms and you're concerned about that, that's a great technique to use. It's inexpensive, it's easy, and then if you guys get anything that actually does show up on the Petri dish, shoot me a message and we'll talk further about what you can do to help yourself. Okay, this is just more of a short video today for you guys, but I hope that adds some value to you. Again, that's, we're busy running around a lot of the time. We're not thinking about some of these things, and this is especially important not just for us, but with younger kids too. if you're noticing behavioral changes in your kids, things like that, that's definitely something that you want to keep on your radar is mold toxicity, because it can create very toxic effects in our body, creates a lot of mycotoxins, and there's a lot that you can do about it to get yourself healthy and get yourself feeling better. So the patient that I did treatment with actually took about 3 to 4 weeks, and he was about 75%. So it can be very effective. You just got to hit that root cause. So thank you again for watching. I'm Dr. Misty Kosciuszko. If you found this valuable, please give me a big thumbs up, comment below on how it helped you, and feel free to share. Thanks so much.